Hey there photography friends, my name is Henry and on this YouTube channel I share the behind the scenes of my photography adventures.
Look what landscape photography does to us.
Some tips and tricks.
Then we've got the line coming in.
And of course, a little bit of banter.
Get a look at that.
Currently releasing one video per day over the Advent period. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell so that you don't miss any of these uploads. Now let's get into today's video.
Wow, look. Oh, absolutely epic, man. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do with myself. It's unbelievable. So welcome back to the channel, ladies and gents. Welcome to my little Advent series, and what a gorgeous morning it is. We've got all this incredible fog. You may even be able to see the sun peeking through the trees there. Incredible conditions, which I want to talk about in today's video. The significance of weather conditions to us as landscape photographers, how it affects our photographs, and I suppose as well, whether or not you should get too hung up on weather conditions, because I think that's a really important part of this as well.
Take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down. You can still take flight.
So it truly is a gorgeous morning here on the shores of Windermere, and it's a good video to talk about conditions when we've got, in my opinion, pretty much the perfect conditions. It's still, the soft light is shining through that fog behind us. Oh, it is glorious. I'm 2 minutes from the van and I'm already taking a photograph here. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, forget about the photography for a second. Let's talk about the conditions and how they make you feel. Just being out and about, you know, even if I was here without the camera, this would be so peaceful. I mean, look at this. Look at the scene. We've got the boats out there and I'm just on the shores here with my camera. Look at the mist as it's slowly moving from right to left. Absolutely beautiful. And then we've got the sun peeking up through there. But yeah, this image, very simple one to start off the morning. I'm photographing one of these boats. I've stuck the Nikon Z7 into a square crop. If you didn't see my last video, I'll tell you why I'm using the Z7 in a sec. But yeah, square crop, isolating one of those beautiful boats. There's some soft light coming from behind us over my shoulders, and it is absolutely perfect. We're working with reflections, so I've got the horizon line bang in the middle. There is a couple of buoys in the lake as well, and my immediate instant reaction was to say, I'm going to clone them out, but you know what? I'm going to leave them in. Oh wow, so the light is absolutely glorious here. Look at that. You know what, I've got to get my act together and try and find some photographs. It's one of them where the tripod is staying on the shoulder. No way is this getting strapped to the bag. But yeah, going back to the Nikon Z7, if you didn't see my last video, I dropped my OM5. So I'm going to be using my Z7 until that gets repaired. However, genuinely now, I was planning on using my Z7 for a little while, honestly. So yeah, maybe it was a little bit of fate, I'm not sure. Wow, there's some incredible light rays through here. Now, if I can show you, the old classic photographer's job, the only photographer's job of trying to find a composition. Look how these conditions are making me feel. Not even spoke about what they're like for photography just yet. Wow. Wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at that scene there from left to right. Genuinely, like, look, I'll spin you around. 20 seconds walk from the lake shore where you can see them blokes there. Just getting ready to go in. goodness me, they're going to have some morning, aren't they? But yeah, really just stumbled across this. I don't know if these light rays are going to last, so I'm sort of reacting to the light, trying to forge a composition in that direction the best that I can. Fortunately, we've got these beautiful, characterful, really quirky looking trees. I think they're like exotic trees or something. They don't look native. If anybody knows, let me know. But wonderful to photograph. So because I'm shooting directly into the sun, I am having to bracket this image. I'm taking 5 photographs just to make sure that I get all of that detail, all of that. It's a huge dynamic range. You know, I really want to capture the detail of these dark trunks in the foreground, and I want to try my best not to blow out that bright patch that you can see in the sky up there. That's really, really bright. So yeah, 5 shots. I'm shooting it as a 16:9 crop, a bit of a strip. It feels like it works. And what sort of shutter speed are we talking? About 1/13 of a second for the middle base exposure, if that makes sense, and then the shutter speed will adjust for the brighter and darker images. But I'm hoping this image feels a little bit mystical and a little bit magical. So look at this, broke my OM System OM5 in last week's video because the tripod wasn't stable enough, and now I've got the Nikon Z7 hanging off my shoulder like it's nothing. Absolute wally. Some people in this world, it's just a matter of fact, isn't it? Some people in this world are just idiots. And it appears that I'm one of them, but no, this has to be accessible. Wow, look, look, look. Oh. Absolutely epic, man. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do with myself. It's unbelievable. I'll tell you what, goodness me, we have had some glorious conditions for landscape photography recently. Now, let's get on to that subject of weather conditions. So the first thing that I want to say, because this is just the first thing that comes to my mind when I want to talk about this subject, is I think it's a bit of a balance. You know, yes, these sorts of conditions get us absolutely buzzing. Generally speaking, they get us, you know, our best photographs, and that's important, of course it is, but at the same time, I think it can be a little bit risky to like put so much emphasis on it. You know, if you're leaving photo shoots because the conditions aren't great and you're feeling down, you might not go out the next time because it just got you down that much. I've been there. I just don't really think that that's a good place to be, and I think, yes, ultimately we should be going out chasing these sorts of conditions. Of course we should, because, well, this is what we live for, and like I said, this is what gets us our best photographs. But I feel like there's a little bit of a fine line between enjoying photographing in these sorts of conditions so much and also getting down on yourself when the conditions don't go your way, because the thing is, it is one of the only things that we cannot control as landscape photographers. And one thing that I always say is that is a good thing. I love that. Imagine if you could control the weather, man. It'd be so boring. Everybody would be, all the photographers would be going out getting mega shots because the conditions would be so lovely all the time. And as they improve their compositions, no, don't like the thought of that. The unpredictability of the weather conditions is a massive part of the enjoyment of landscape photography for me. So you can probably tell that the light is streaming in from behind you, and I mean, it's probably a little bit more dramatic in that direction, but I've just spotted a little peninsula off in the distance here, and I really don't know if this is going to be pretty decent or absolutely naff. I don't know. I haven't got high hopes, if I'm being honest, but yeah, there's just a nice little peninsula. There's actually a little swan swimming about as well, so if he goes in the right place, he might feature. But It's just wonderful. The peninsula is engulfed by all of this fog. It feels very mystical, like that previous shot of them trees. And I don't know, there's something that I really like about it in real life. Whether or not I can get that across in the photograph, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really got high hopes, but yeah, I'm zooming right in. It's quite minimal. There really isn't that much going on. It's good because we've got fog behind the trees, so you know, we get a little bit of separation, and they are completely and utterly isolated. I'm in at 160 mil, and my shutter speed was 1/60th of a second, ISO 64, and I've got it on f11. Just trying a second version of this composition. You can see we're switched to a portrait orientation. We've just got a hill right off in the distance behind the peninsula that's just peaking as this fog is starting to dissipate. And the swan's in the perfect place now as well, and he's lit up by all of that light. Gosh man, I don't know. That's the portrait version. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I honestly, it might be really nice, I don't know, but I honestly think it's one of them where everything looks brilliant and wonderful in real life, and it's just going to be a naff photograph, so I'm sorry. So for me, fog and morning sunlight just like this are 100% my favourite conditions to be out in with my camera, and I would love to know down in the comments if you agree with me. If not, what are your favourite conditions? That would be very interesting to hear. But yeah, going back to what I was talking about earlier, I do think it is so important not to get hung up too much on these sorts of conditions, because A, they're very, very rare, and B, we want to enjoy being out with our cameras, and we don't want that to be down to whether or not, we don't want that enjoyment to be down to whether or not the weather conditions are good, because I mean, especially in the UK, you're going to feel down more than you are joyful. Trust me on that. But I mean, when it does come together like this, there's a photographer there firing off some shots. Absolute legend. But yeah, when it does come together like this, it is special, man, special. So the photographer that I just mentioned is this wonderful bloke here. His name's Will Halligan. I'll put his Instagram up on the screen. I've followed Will and he's followed me for years on Instagram. Wonderful photographer, very local to this area actually, and yeah, he's firing off a few shots in that direction there. I might copy him in a second. But yeah, the fog is slowly starting to disappear now. It was all the way down Windermere to the north there not too long ago, but I think I'm gonna head over there behind Will back into the fog and basically just keep chasing these weather conditions. Yeah, wonderful. Keep chasing, Will says. That's the stuff. Oh man, that was really nice to meet Will there. He's so sound, proper nice bloke, and yeah, like I said, brilliant photography. He's got some crackers. So it's a weird one. I'm sort of seeing photographs, or half seeing photographs, but they're not doing it for me enough. Even like, look at this huge sort of bare tree there, all on his own. It doesn't quite do it for me, man. I'm gonna keep moving on into the mist and just keep my eyes peeled, man, because it's weird. We must be about 11 AM now, and the conditions, look at this, are still so wonderful because, for the most part, the fog, I guess, but also because obviously this time of year, the sun stays so low in the sky, and thus the light is just really, really pleasant. So, composition always comes back to composition, doesn't it? Doesn't matter how good those weather conditions are, by the way. If you don't know what you're photographing, if you don't know what photograph you're taking, it just doesn't matter, does it? You could have the best conditions in the world, and that's when it can be frustrating. So I've been round here loads of times around this area, and down here we're getting to the River Leven, I think, or just as where the River Leven meets the southern end of Windermere, but it's a lovely, tranquil little spot, which is obviously well suited to these conditions this morning. It's nearly this afternoon. This is just incredible, man. Look at it, it's so pastely and soft. Ah, oh, glorious. So yeah, I'll probably spend a bit of time just, I suppose, meandering up and down the shores of this river here, seeing if I can find anything. Man, this is amazing. Oh, there's something else about weather conditions that I wanted to speak about as well. Going back to being in the UK and stuff like that, I think this one's quite interesting too. So I was going to sit down on that bench there behind, but it's soaking wet and I don't fancy a damp botty this morning. So yeah, weather conditions. I wanted to talk about, I suppose, weather conditions in a more broader sense. And what I mean by that is there's so many different types of conditions that we put ourselves in as landscape photographers. You know, just because the conditions aren't like they are this morning, which to me are perfect, like I said, doesn't mean there isn't photographs to be had. And that's the point that I really want to get across in this video above everything else, is there's always images to be had. You have to make the best out of the hand that you've been dealt, because like I mentioned earlier on in this video, it's completely out of your control. And look, I love loads of other types of conditions. I love dramatic, moody, I love the rain. I love being out in the rain with my camera. Stormy skies. I don't mind if it's windy and rainy, because those conditions tend to bring the dramatic skies and things like that. I love it when it's moody and you're getting shafts of light through the clouds. This is what is so exciting to me about landscape photography as a whole, is like that. Oh, you go out and really, most of the time, you don't really know what's going to happen with the weather. And oh man, I just love that. It is an absolute chase. It's brilliant. But I'll reiterate once again, because I think this is so important. Just go out and enjoy your photography. Try your best not to get down about the conditions if they don't go your way. I know that's difficult. It gets me down a lot of the time, but you've just got to try and, you know, do your best with the hand that you've been dealt, like I said, and make the most out of the time that you've got out with your camera. Oh yes, so I had this sort of shot in mind all morning really. I think this is a brilliant time of year to, you know, keep your eyes peeled down on the floor at your feet, because when you get the frost, there's so much on the ground, because obviously it's only just been autumn. There's still really nice colour on the ground because a lot of the leaves are still holding their colour. And I found one particular one here that's this really nice sort of lime green, like yellowy colour, really nice. And I am absolutely making him the main event, the big boy in this photograph. He is bang in the centre. And what I'm zoomed in at 200mm actually, so really far. I suppose I could lower the tripod a little bit, but no, this works absolutely fine. And yeah, centralising that sort of lime green coloured leaf, and then it's all really nice, sort of a variety of different brown tones that surround that leaf. It's brilliant. I love these types of photographs, man, like really do love them. Make sure I'm focused on that leaf. There we go. There is your dinner. Lovely. And like I said, honestly, I love these types of photographs, man. And yeah, you're obviously seeing the image there, but I'll probably add a little bit of a vignette in post-production again, just to bring even more emphasis on that lovely, vibrant coloured lime green leaf in the middle of the frame. Oh, a real seasonal photograph, I think, isn't it? So you know what, I reckon, I don't know for sure yet because I haven't seen the photographs from earlier on this morning, but I reckon that image I just got with the leaves is my favourite photograph of the morning. And I think that is so interesting because of everything that we've spoken about this morning in this video, the weather conditions. Now that image had nothing to do with the weather. And I'd have never thought an image like that would have been my favourite from this morning. There's obviously no fog in the photograph, and there wasn't any light. That's an image that could have been taken on a grey, flat, lifeless, cloudy morning, and it would have looked exactly the same. Proves my point, I feel, that there's always images to be had when you take the time to look. Sounds really easy, doesn't it? But it isn't. Anyway, I would urge you, ladies and gentlemen, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Whilst I'm on this Advent series, I'm going to be releasing one video every day through December for the next 24 days, right up until Christmas Eve. We're going to talk about all things photography. I'm going to share hints and tips. We're going to get out with our cameras and have wonderful adventures, hopefully. And genuinely, I don't even know where I'm going to end up. I'm going to be doing a fair bit of driving, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So hit the subscribe button, join me on this little adventure, or this big adventure, series of adventures, and get involved. But yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you on the next adventure. Who knows where that's going to be? I don't know. Out.